Hey, what's up, regulars? Today I'm going to show you how to do a DIY oil change on almost any vehicle. Obviously, this does not apply to all vehicles, but most vehicles should be the same. So let's get started. First of all, what you're going to need, obviously, is oil, and you're also going to need an oil filter. And let's go over some of the tools you'll need. So for DIYers, I like using tools from Harbor Freight, like these open-end wrenches right here for your drain plugs, or an oil filter wrench with a ratcheting wrench. You'll also need some various screwdrivers and funnels. And for those stubborn, pesky oil filters, you could also use a hammer and a screwdriver. All you do is hammer the screwdriver through the filter and then use the screwdriver as a bar to rotate it. So let's begin by lifting up the car. Whenever you lift up a car, always make sure to be extremely safe and use the proper jacking points under your car. If you do not know, you could always Google them and find out. And always use a jack stand. Be careful with the new Harbor Freight jack stands. There's a recall out for them. So let's get started by removing the under tray of your vehicle. If your vehicle does not have an under tray, then you don't have to worry about this step. Alright, and now we're going to pop our hood. These pesky hood latches could be pretty hard to find sometimes, and then go ahead and prop your hood up. And then what you want to do is undo your oil filler cap and your dipstick, that way the oil drains better. Also run the engine for about 60 seconds. Alright, so now we're underneath the car. As you can see, I'm pointing at the oil filter, and then right next to that is your oil pan and then your oil drain plug. You can kind of tell it's a lower part. On this side of the engine is my transmission. We're not going to touch that. And then back on this side, this is what we need right here. It's right underneath the engine. So getting right in, I'm loosening the oil drain plug. And now you can see I'm going to remove the oil drain plug. And try to be careful not to drop your oil drain plug into your drip pan. I'm not going to lie, that took me like 5 takes just to say that. And then you're going to let your oil drain for about 5 to 10 minutes depending on how thin your oil is. I have 0-820, it's pretty thin, but I still let it drain for 10 minutes. And now, as you can see, I'm loosening up my oil filter. This is where you could use an oil filter wrench. For me, the last mechanic, myself, made it so I could loosen it by hand. This is also a pretty messy job, so just be aware that it's going to leak oil everywhere. Okay, so this right here is a super important step. You don't always have to put oil in your filter. I like to fill it up at least once and then let it drop down. And then I'm doing this one-handed, so it's not super easy. But you want to make sure that you get oil on the O-ring, because if not, the O-ring will pinch and then it'll squirt oil out the side when the engine starts running. You do not want your oil leaking everywhere after you just replaced it. And now you can see I'm reinstalling my oil drain plug. I also recommend highly that every time you do your oil change, you replace the crush washer that's on the oil drain plug. If you do not, you could usually get away using it 2 or 3 times, but I prefer and I suggest that you replace that. And when you tighten it, don't tighten it too tight. Usually it's around like 12 foot-pounds, or as you can see right here, about a quarter turn. Alright, so now what you want to do is wipe up your oil from the bottom of your oil pan and then look up where your oil filter was and make sure there's no O-ring on there. You need to make sure that the O-ring is not there, or verify that it's on your filter still that you took off your car. Or else you'll have a really bad oil leak. And now you're going to thread your oil filter on by hand, and then you're going to snug it down all the way, and as you can see, about a quarter to half a turn, and that's all you need. You don't need any tighter than that. When your engine gets hot and cold, filter eventually gets pretty tight on there and it's hard to remove. And now what you're going to do is wrap it up by installing the bottom tray in your engine, if your car has it, of course. Here you can watch me struggle with mine. I'm just going to cut it out. Alright, so now what you want to do is you want to lower your vehicle. As you can see, I'm not putting anything underneath the vehicle. And now I'm trying to step away while I grab, just to be safe as possible. And lower your vehicle. Try not to drop it though. As you can see, I'm moving my extension cord from my tire. Also, this jack I bought at my favorite place ever, Harbor Freight, for $60. What you want to do is look in your owner's manual or look online for how much oil your engine takes. Mine is about a little bit less than 5 quarts. So as you can see, I have a 5-quart container. I'm going to pour about 4.5 quarts in. Once I have 4.5 quarts in, I'm going to check it on the dipstick. What I'm doing when I'm checking the dipstick is make sure that the oil is at least halfway up the dipstick. And then once you check that and verify, then you're going to start your engine and run your engine for about 35 to 45 seconds. That way the oil fills in the filter and circulates through the engine. As you can see, mine's right about the halfway mark. It might be hard to see on camera though. I'm going to start my engine. And I let my engine run a little bit longer than this, but I edited it out, so it seems like my engine only ran for about 5 seconds. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is verify the oil. What I did is I looked at it and it was almost all the way at the bottom because I ran the engine. So I'm going to put it back in and top off the oil. Once you do this for a while, you kind of get the hang of it, but if the oil is at the very bottom of the dipstick, usually you're low about a quart. So what I did was I added the rest of the quart in there. Alright, once you're topped off with oil, you can pull out the big orange Mambo Jumbo. Double check it again. What you're looking for is for it to be right underneath the max line, or most cars have like 2 little dots. You want it underneath the dot that's on the top. And it might be a little bit hard to see on camera, but you can see my oil is right underneath the top dot. Sometimes this could be really hard to see in person too, so what you could do is lay your dipstick against a napkin, and you can see where the oil comes off, and that kind of gives you an idea of how high it is on the dipstick. Alright, so now what I'm doing is I'm just moving my tools, moving my funnel, taking my light off, I'm going to close the hood. And then you're done. Yeah, I know I dropped it, sorry. Alright, and now if your car's equipped with it, you're going to reset your oil light from inside your vehicle. If you can't do it from inside your vehicle, you could use a code reader or take it to a shop and have them reset the oil light. And if this video helped you, or if you have any questions, please ask down in the comment section. And also, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. It helps me out a lot. Thanks for watching, and you guys should be good to go now.